I've spent a lot of this year talking to European booking agents about American bands and figuring out what are the steps I can guide my US bands through to make it make sense for them to go to Europe. I've seen this as an issue this year, and it's been a hard year for this. Don't put going to Europe or going to America, if you're a European band, on a pedestal. Touring for underground rock musicians is hard no matter where you go. And the audience is small. Remember that rock and metal really only survive because every city has a population of dudes who go to 5 shows a month, which is more than one a week, and buy at least a shirt at every show. That's what we need to keep going. There's only so many of those people. And it's hard. If you can't draw 50 people at home, you shouldn't be touring. You shouldn't be touring another continent, especially if you can't draw 50 people at home. I've spent a lot of this year talking to European booking agents about American bands and figuring out what are the steps I can guide my US bands through to make it make sense for them to go to Europe. For European bands to come here, it's a little bit different because there's visa issues, the infrastructure is a lot different, and people know it's a lot harder, so I think European bands tend to be of a bit more of a level, again, especially because of the visa thing before they come to America. See if the demand is there. And the demand is not a few of your friends in Germany saying, yeah, you should totally come here, we'll bring people. That doesn't a tour make. There's a lot of scuzzy agents out there, and it's hard to identify them frequently until it's too late. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people I know, a lot of smart people I know, because again, there's putting Europe on a pedestal. And I agree that touring Europe from an American perspective, you're seeing new places, you're experiencing new cultures. The scene for heavy rock music is a lot stronger there. So I get it. I get the desire to go there. But it's not this promised land. In a lot of cases, if you go too early, you might fuck your band up permanently. Because remember, just going there's flights, there's renting gear, there's renting a van, so you're already thousands of dollars in the hole, and you've got to try to make that money back, and that's hard. There's a lot of big bands who their whole goal is just break even on this European run, and that's okay, but you need to realize how hard it is. And sometimes you do need to go once or twice to start to let people know, okay, this is a band who are serious about doing this, but it's not easy. And it's the same for European bands coming to America. You're gonna have a lot of difficult shows, and you see a lot of bands who come too early. Think about it this way. For European bands in particular. Oliver, who are genre defining, been around for almost 30 years, probably a top 5 most important black metal band, who obviously transitioned into a lot of stuff, played all the cool festivals. They had to cancel their West Coast tour because of low ticket sales after selling out 2 shows in New York at a pretty big venue. Think about that. If Oliver can't come over here, why should your European band who have sold 500 records think it's gonna be great? You can still come by all means. Ambition is good, giving it a shot is good, DIYing it is good. I'm about it. But don't expect it to be sunshine and rainbows. It's gonna be fucking hard. And it's the same for American bands going to Europe. It's hard. It's hard to book shows there because European promoters are a lot more, I don't want to say discerning, but they're a lot more fiscally cautious. In America, I think bars will open for you to play to 8 people. Whereas in Europe, if they see 8 people are going to come, they're just going to be like, no, fuck you, and cancel. So you've got to be aware of that fact. You've got to be cautious. But it can be really fun. There are huge rewards. It can elevate your band to a whole new level. But you have to be cautious, you have to do it thoughtfully, and you have to be careful about making sure that when you go over, you're ready to go over, and that there's a demand for you over there, beyond just a few journalists who say, oh, this band is cool. And the real only way to tell that demand is record sales, and making sure that the record is moving consistently. And if the record is consistently moving over there, and not 2 a month, but 50 or something, obviously it depends on the genre, but if people are consistently buying your record and you've done well over there, sales-wise, then it might make sense. And that's how you start to generate interest. And I know it's hard to hear, and I know it's brutal to hear, and I know a lot of you guys want to tour Europe, but it's not the promised land. Neither is America. Both are brutal. Accept that. Realize you're probably going to have a few DIY tours that lose you a ton of money if you're trying to go to another continent. That's okay. It's part of the game. But I just don't want people to get somewhere and realize they're in over their head and then feel bad. It's hard no matter where you go.